It can be a side dish. So this is a roasted recipe, which means you can very easily whip this up as a side dish. You can also use it as a main course by adding some protein to it. So if anybody's going to be eating this tonight for dinner and you do want this to be your main dish, adding protein to it in the form of chickpeas is ideal and always, and it's a great flavor combination. And you can also add other like white style beans. And if you wanted to do like a roast chicken or something that you have pre-cooked, like leftover, you could add that as well too. I tend to like it as is or with the chickpeas. I really like chickpeas and I like curried chickpeas. So for me, it works out really well. So this is going to be roasted. So once you guys have all of your ingredients kind of set out, we are going to preheat our oven. So a sheet pan, I'll show you what I have. Everyone can just grab that before we start, just so that once it reaches 6 and we get going, you have all your stuff ready. I will repeat this again at 6. So I have a foil lined sheet pan. You can do parchment paper. If you have a silicone sheet pan, that's fine too. You don't need to line it with anything. I have it lined with this because we are going to do that. We're going to use olive oil, and that tends to be difficult to wash, to be honest, on our sheet pans, the olive oil. And I use this, I am going to use this, and I often use this pan in particular for bread baking, so I don't necessarily want the curry flavor embedded in there. If you are using a sheet pan that you only use for savory cooking, then you don't really have to worry about lining it. But when you're using something as unique as curry powder that you might not want to transfer to other things, it's always good to line a dish, line a pan, anything like that. Foil is great, parchment is great. Any kind of baking sheet is going to work. A silicone liner is going to work. So that's what I have ready. So I have my foil lined. Like I said, I like this. This is just my favorite pan. I use it for everything. I use it for bread a lot. So I know I'm going to use it for bread tomorrow, so I definitely don't want, when I wash it, to have that curry kind of lingering. We're using a yellow curry tonight, and we're using a powder. So if any of you have the curry paste, that's absolutely fine. You're just going to adjust for taste, because we're doing a dry roast. Usually the wet curry is for like a curry sauce. I love the curry paste. It's delicious and it makes a great sauce. I highly recommend it. So if that's all you found, that's fine. It's going to be more kind of liquidy, or not liquidy. That's not the right word. It's going to be more kind of saucy, right? So this is going to be less saucy and a little bit more dry because of the powder. So this is very versatile. You can swap out your curry. So we'll just do a quick recipe check-in now that it's 6. And I'll welcome everyone. Good to see everyone again. This is a great, like I said earlier, it's a great side dish, and it can easily be your main course with the addition of some protein. The items in this dish are all very, very heart healthy, which is why it's a really good recipe for just kind of the time of year where you're eating maybe heavier dishes than you would like. Lots of cheese, lots of meat, lots of kind of heavier items happening in the winter. So a nice, fresh, detoxifying, heart-healthy side dish is going to really complement that. So curry is not spicy. So I think there's a little bit of a misconception with that. Curry is not spicy. You can make it spicy with the addition of peppers, but curry in general is not going to be spicy. It's going to be really earthy. It's going to be very savory. If everybody wants to pop open their curry and smell it, doesn't smell spicy at all, right? Kind of smells a little bit sweet, maybe. Earthy. Almost reminds me of like cinnamon pies and things like that. currants, that kind of essence, like a sweet kind of richness. The curry paste that you might find, read the label, read the ingredients. If it says spicy on it, it has hot peppers in it. Usually a chili pepper, a habanero, a Scotch bonnet, all of those peppers. Curry sauces can be spicy, and if you go like Thai food or Indian food and you'll read on, they'll let you know, yes, this is spicy, no, it's not, mild. That's how you can adjust it. But in general, the curry is itself, the curry powder, this dry powder is not going to be spicy. Your pastes can be if they have the addition of heat in them. So it smells just really beautiful and savory. It reminds me of like pine nuts and currants and like richness and browns and sauces, like all that kind of like rich food. So this dish is not going to be spicy at all. You can do a little taste of it and it'll give you a better idea of what you're gonna feel there. Has a little bit of ginger is really what I'm thinking of. So I don't, it's not a spicy spice. It's not hot spice, put it that way. It's not a hot spice. It has the notes or alivens the flavor or taste buds of like the way ginger does. So if you feel like ginger is, oh hey, that's a little spicy, you might find some alive action going on here, but it's not hot like a pepper. If you do feel that curry has a lot of energy on the tongue, which is kind of like where spice is going to come from, you can mute it or mat that flavor with cream. That's why we will find a lot of curry recipes that maybe have coconut milk in it, sour cream, Greek yogurt. Go ahead and incorporate that. That's going to keep the curry flavor without adding that like energy on the taste buds. So I don't, it's not generally a hot spice, right? It's not like a heat driven spice, but it's very earthy the same way and very vibrant the same way ginger is, the same way cinnamon. The cinnamon's going to tone it down a little bit. So it has a lot of that stuff going on. So I wouldn't say it's spicy. But if you buy the pastes, they might have hot in them. They might have heat additions in them. Also, some of these I just have a regular curry powder. Read the ingredients on your curry powder. Just make sure that it's a blend of the spices that you want. It can have the addition of pepper. So just read everything. But in general, this wouldn't be like a super spicy dish. So curry powder is going to be one of our ingredients. We are going to have cinnamon. Cinnamon is going to help kind of pull out the sweetness of the curry, and then also add a little bit of balance to that kind of alive action on the tongue, right? It's going to kind of bring it down. Salt and pepper, which are just for balance. We have a yellow onion. You can swap with a red. Yellow is going to be a little bit sweeter. Again, we have all those savory spices, so we're adding sweet when we can. Lemon juice, so it's about 2 tablespoons, so one nice big fat lemon will work, or lemon juice. Garlic, on this recipe we have 4 cloves. You can use as much or as little as you like. Garlic, I always feel like as long as you have like the 1 clove, you're covering the recipe. You can always add. And then your cauliflower. I have my cauliflower here. I cut it into big slices, and then I'm just going to break off my florets a little bit. If you like big round pieces, go ahead and keep them like chunky like that. If you like cauliflower steak slices where it's just a thin one, you can just cut your slices that way. So I'm just breaking it up a little bit, but you can also keep them whole like this. So just go ahead and chop up your cauliflower and set it in your baking dish. I mentioned earlier, we're going to use a baking dish lined with some foil or parchment paper because we don't want these flavors to transfer to our pan and stay in the pan for a wide variety of time. So I like to line it. If you don't care about the flavors kind of transferring over, because they do, when you bake enough with something, you cook enough with something, your pan is going to really absorb those. It gets porous and absorbs. So go ahead and drop your cauliflower in your lined pan and set your oven to 425. So I'm going to set my oven back here. I actually have something in it, so let me take that out first. We just did biscuits. those. I'm going to go to 425. So we have a 425 oven going, and we have chopped up cauliflower in the pan. To that pan that you're going to roast in, because this is a roasted dish, you're going to go ahead and add your onion. I really love the addition of onion in this because it adds a little bit of that sweetness. My daughter is going to eat this tonight. She doesn't like onions, so I'm going to leave the onions out on my end. But at this point, you would do a half of an onion, peeled and sliced nice and thin, and add it in there. I could eat onion raw, roasted, pureed. Anyway, I love it. But she's not feeling well. She wants the curry, but she's not feeling great. Everyone is still getting sick, so she doesn't want the onion. It's like too much for her. So leave the onion out, but I refuse to leave out the garlic. The garlic, I do feel like it, a little bit of garlic is essential. I'm going to move down a little bit here. And it will make her feel better. Go ahead and add your onion and garlic right in there with your cauliflower. You can use your hand. Just give it a nice toss, right? Dry, no other ingredients except for basically our aromatics and our veg. That's it. I've got some nice broccoli over here. I've got some nice peppers. You could add all of that to this. This is essentially more or less a really circulation-driven side dish. But if you're going to make this a main course, go ahead and add some more stuff to it if you want. But I've got this, just my vegetables kind of in here. We're going to get our, it's not a sauce. It's kind of a dry sauce, but it's not a sauce. But we're going to pull out the flavors of our herbs and spices with the help of olive oil. So what we're going to kind of create is almost like a dressing to coat all of this with. So we're going to do about 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. About 1/3 of a cup will cover one whole supermarket head of cauliflower and coat all of the pieces without being kind of dripping off of there. So we're going to do 1/3 of a cup. I'll show this out. And go ahead and add it to a bowl, okay? So you're going to do right to a bowl your olive oil. A good olive oil is ideal for this. If you can use an extra virgin for cooking. So this one is extra virgin for sauteing and stir frying. You can use an extra virgin for baking. You can use regular olive oil, but try to avoid your, canolas and things like that. It's not going to benefit what we're going for here in terms of the heart health. And then we're going to start to add to this the rest of our herbs. Everybody grab a fork or a knife or a whisk, because all we're going to do, really all you need for this is your knife and your bowl and your whisk to incorporate all this together. To your olive oil, you're going to start to build your flavors. You can go ahead and add garlic to this as well if you want. I went ahead and added it to the cauliflower. If you would like to add a few more cloves of garlic to here, you can. If you're going extra on the garlic, why not, right? I've got another nice head here. Chop it up, and I'm going to add right to it. Like I said, I really enjoy the garlic in this, especially since it's roasted, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Garlic is also really good for your health. It's really good for circulation. It's really good for detox. So add it, especially everyone is ill right now, so it's a really nice way to kind of get your immunity up. So you're going to add your garlic, if adding more, your lemon juice. So you're going to add a nice amount of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze this in. It does feel like a dressing, right? It feels like, hey, this could be a salad dressing. I probably have got 2 tablespoons in there. Okay, really nice. It smells good. Really nice and vibrant. So we've got our lemon juice, our garlic, our olive oil in there right now. So that's as far as we've gotten. If anybody needs me to slow down, you need to catch up, anything like that, let me know. I don't see any questions yet. I know, I hope she feels better too. It's a bummer because I also had a graduation ceremony tonight for some of my culinary students, and I can't go because I have to go back and take care of her. So, mother's work is never done. We got our garlic, our lemon juice, and our olive oil. We're going to go ahead and add all of our herbs and spices. So you're going to do a half a teaspoon of salt. I should probably measure a little better, but I'm gonna Italian measuring spoon all of my herbs tonight. It's my Italian measuring spoon because I can eyeball it at this point, but it's going to be about a half a teaspoon of salt. When you're doing a half a teaspoon of salt, you're going to cut the pepper a little bit. So a little bit less pepper, about a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper and a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon. So here's my cinnamon. Again, eyeballing about a quarter of a teaspoon. You want to match your cinnamon and your pepper. So why do we want to match cinnamon and pepper? The pepper is going to add a little bit of that bite on the tongue. The cinnamon's going to balance it. So they work together. So I like to always remember that if I'm adding something, I like to consider cinnamon creamy. Yeah, you could definitely adapt it to buffalo cauliflower. I say, yeah, cauliflower is great for that. But if you're cinnamon, probably not as fun with something like a red pepper, like Frank's hot sauce and all of that stuff for buffalo, but really nice with the earth because kind of like you want to think about if they grow together, they go together. Cinnamon, curry, allspice, coriander, cumin, those are all spices that are from the same family, so they kind of work well together. Pepper is going to like activate sensors on your tongue that's going to just bring it to life a little bit. And cinnamon is going to help to balance that. So I always like to match, if I'm going to do like something creamy with something spicy, I like to match them. So we've got a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, quarter teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, and then we're doing 1.5 teaspoons of our curry. If you're new to curry, you can start with less, okay? Don't feel like I have to add all of this curry. I don't know if I'm going to like it. This is new. I know a couple people were like, hey, can I just leave it out? Sure, but then you're just making roast cauliflower, right? So you don't need me for that. Just roast your cauliflower. This kind of mix that we're making, this marinade that we're making, is a really, and you'll start, if you're doing this with me, you're going to start to smell all this. And it's really going to come alive. It's going to be kind of like, oh, wow, this is like a unique marinade or salad dressing. And you can see the color is it's golden. It's very golden. It's very rich from the olive oil, but it's not losing any of all of the fragrances of those spices are all very evident and working together. It smells very beautiful. I can smell the olive oil. We use a good olive oil. I can smell it. I can smell the curry. It's got that really nice kind of like earthiness. I can smell the cinnamon. The salt is there just for the balance, but I can smell all of that in there. We're going to whisk it or mix it until it's really combined. So you do want to make sure that you're emulsified. And by that I mean you need to make sure that your olive oil is not sinking to the bottom and separating from everything else. We have an acid in here, which is our lemon juice. So that should help everything adhere or kind of emulsify or turn creamy, but you want to give it a really vibrant whisk until it all comes together. So imagine if you're going to pour this on a salad, you don't want it to separate. It's the same thing here. We don't want it to separate in the oven. So I've got a nice, see how golden it is? It's really nice, and I use my bigger spoon so you can see it here. I'm going to give it a nice pour. See how nice and golden it is? It really has a beautiful essence to it. Now what we want to do is take this and completely coat our cauliflower in it. So if you want to put on gloves, or if you want to, if you don't mind using your hands, we're going to evenly pour it. Get all of it out, and then you're going to get in there with your hands. And you're going to make sure all of your cauliflower is coated. So top and bottom, roll it all around. You might be saying to yourself, like, if you're doing this, like, there's not enough marinade for all of this cauliflower. There is. It's going to start to kind of like seep off, and you're moving your cauliflower around to make sure every piece touches a little bit of that marinade. If this is the first time you're working with curry, and you taste this and you absolutely love it, you know you can go a little bit more next time. If you taste this and you say, this is not for me, you can do a little bit less. If you like it, but you feel like, oh, I need it less like astringent, I need it less spicy, you can add to your marinade a little bit of coconut milk or a little bit of Greek yogurt, and that will just tame it a little bit more. It's kind of like when you eat a really spicy, like Mexican taco, and you add the sour cream and it's not spicy anymore. It's going to do the same thing. So I'm just moving all of this around, top to bottom, covering everything. This is a little bit why I like to do my flat slices, because it's easy to kind of move them around. My more kind of robust heads, I gotta like dip it a little bit more. So just a little preference there. Now, if you're working on this as a main course, at this point you could add chickpeas, you could add white beans, or if you have a rotisserie chicken, you could add that and do the same thing, get it all coated with everything. The goal here is going to really be to cover all of it, and we're going to wait about 5 minutes before we put it in the oven. Your onions and your cauliflower should be in a single layer, okay? So we don't want them on top of each other. We want a nice flat layer, okay? Nice and flat. This is going to roast, depending on your oven, anywhere, and depending on your preference for how you like your veggies, anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, okay? If you prefer a raw snap to your veg, you're going to go a little bit less. If you like more of a charred, well done, soft vegetable, you're going to go the full 30. For the purpose of tonight, I'm going to put it in the oven, and then halfway through, I'm going to flip all of my vegetables and put it back in. So I'm going to do a little bit less tonight so I can get through the recipe with you guys. I'm going to take this and put it in the oven. So remember, you're at 425, so it's a hot oven. Make sure I'm there. Very hot oven. You're not, you don't want to go less than that, because they won't roast. They'll bake, and there is a difference. So a roast, we want almost like somewhat of a crust on our vegetable with the softness on the inside, but we want that softness protected. If you're baking, you're essentially creating the same texture through the whole vegetable. Imagine a baked potato, right? Baked all the way through, there's no texture difference. The skin might separate and have a little bit of texture difference, but in general, the potato from top to bottom is the same thing. If you think about French fries, on the other hand, they have a crispy outside and a soft inside. So it's the same thing with roasting and baking. So roasting is going to have almost like a shell or a crisp on the outside and softness on the inside. There is going to be a difference in texture. Baking is going to have the same texture throughout when we're talking about vegetables. I'm going to set a timer, and I'm going to do it in 7 minutes, and then I'll switch it. Hold on. I'm going to set my timer. There we go. I'm going to do about 7. If anybody is cooking, and you want to share how long you're cooking for, how long you're going to bake it for, feel free. I know sometimes some of us will do this like in the future. You're not cooking with us now, which is absolutely fine. You don't have to. But if anybody wants to share what they're going to do. Sorry about that. The connection's a little unstable here because of the wind we're having. But I was saying, if you're open to adapting or trying new flavors, cauliflower is a vegetable that's going to help you get the most out of whatever it is that you're creating. Curry is a unique flavor. Has anyone never had curry before? Is this anyone's like first foray into curry? I know there was some like, oh, do we have to use it? I don't know if I like curry. Not everybody does. Yeah, not a lot of people have had it. I prefer it. The way that we're having it is a great, like for me, it's like I have, not a lot of time, but I need something flavorful and, you know, like almost like luxurious. It's a great quick way to get that. But curry is kind of, this the saucy dish, like almost like a soup or a stew. Um, you can do it with lentils. I love it with lentils. Um, Chicken, shrimp, all of those things. It's more time consuming to make, right? It takes a little bit longer. All of those flavors have to marry together. Takes a while. What the benefit of using cauliflower for this, aside from the health benefits, because it's a delicious vegetable that is very heart healthy, um, and very affordable and adaptable. It really has a very, I don't want to say bland, but it has a very bland flavor profile that will take on whatever you give it. That's why we use it for things like cauliflower pizza, buffalo cauliflower bites. What else is it? Cauliflower rice. It's just very neutral. It's very, easy to use. So it takes on a really nice flavor. Um, uh, well, so Indian curry and Chinese curry is different methods, different techniques, different ingredients, right? I prefer Thai curry, which is completely different than the both of them. So it's just the preparation. Thai curry tends to have a lot of coconut backgrounds to it, which I really like. A lot of the Indian curries I've had have been vegetarian, which I love. Um, I don't think I've ever had a Chinese curry. But I would imagine there's going to be more of a meat driven proteins in there, so it's going to taste quite different. Um, I really like. There's a place in town here called Truly Thai, and they do a variety of different curries: red curry, green curry, and a massaman curry. Red curry and green curry are made with different herbs, so it's going to have a red paste instead of a green, or a green paste, which is going to be more earthy and herby and a different kind of spice than a red. So it's how they're prepared. I prefer a Thai version because I love coconut. If you love coconut and you like the way this tastes, try a Thai curry, because rich, creamy coconut, I feel like it has a really beautiful balance to it. It's almost like eating dessert, but it's savory. So I really enjoy that, and I would try to make those very often. This dish, I would definitely add some chickpeas, drained chickpeas, mix it through there, and then maybe I'll do like a splash of coconut milk or coconut oil. Just a little bit of coconut oil will add that, like, kind of, trick yourself into thinking that you're eating a really rich kind of beautiful Thai curry. I've never had a Chinese curry, so if anybody wants to let us know um, what your flavor profile is on that. Let us know. But and Indian curries tend to be, lots of um, spinach, greens, cauliflower, chickpeas, white beans, all of these, like, not pasty additions, but really rich, creamy additions. So I feel like the Indian curries are a lot creamier, a lot of puree in them as well. So you'll puree your beans or you'll puree your cauliflower, and then add the greens in there. Cooked greens, not raw greens. So Thai is going to be a little bit more raw greens in there. And then our Indian curries are going to be cooked greens, which is just unique and different. And I don't always eat rice with my curry too. So with a curry like sauce or a soup. This dish is not gonna. This is going to be the side. So you might have something else with it. If you are gonna add the chickpeas or a bean or something like that, or a roast chicken or whatever to it to incorporate in there, and you wanted to do the rice, you could. I'm gonna check mine. I'm gonna bring it over here, and I'm just gonna flip. I'm gonna show you what I mean by flipping them. Uh, I'm already getting a nice char. It's good. Hopefully my smoke alarm doesn't go off. Let me open this. If anybody's been here, they know the smoke alarm is very sensitive. Okay, so I'm gonna show you some of the char. I smell sweet already. So it smells sweet already, which is really beautiful. So you see, I have this beautiful kind of brown richness happening. The aroma is sweet. The aroma is rich. And I have a lot of really nice kind of caramelization. So very carefully, you're just going to flip your vegetables, flip all of them. Let me get my knife. I have to hold the phone, so I can't use my other hand, but I'm just going to flip everything so that I get a nice char on both sides. If you were in the class last week, you know that I talk about hot spots a lot. If you have a hot spot in your oven, pay attention to it. I clearly have one back here. So now I'm going to rotate my pan, rotate so that all of your vegetables get the proper time near that hot spot. Hot spots can be confusing, especially when baking. So I think I got all of them. All right. Okay. So, and then back into the oven for the duration of the cook time. I sliced them flat. I did flats, like steak slices. Um, they're gonna take less time to cook than if I use the whole cauliflower head. If you like a floret, your florets are gonna take longer to cook than your slices, if that makes sense. Same thing with like broccoli and carrots and stuff. The thicker your vegetable, the longer it's gonna take to cook. So any questions so far? I'm checking the chat. Yeah, it's 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 a unique flavor that you kind of wind up craving, if that makes sense. Um, it's also very good heart and health wise. Um, Cinnamon is great for circulation, so it's going to help um, boost your metabolism, get your circulation going, keep your heart rate high. Curry is very cleansing, and usually you can pair curry with things like turmeric and coriander that are all really clarifying, blood purity, herbs and spices. And the cauliflower is low in sugar, low in carb. You're not going to get a glucose spike from it. So this is a really great like indulgent dish that does nothing but help your body, really. So it's a beautiful flavor and it feels very rich and indulgent. But all of these together, especially, are having a lot of fun, like getting your bloodstream going. So you might actually feel like you ate sugar after this, but not in a bad way, not in that glucose spike way, but in that like, ooh, I feel, I feel good. I feel energized. That, can I tell you, that pot falls every day. I feel like there might be a spirit in here that's not like that pot because every day that thing just falls over and there's no reason for it. And it's heavy. So something is knocking it over. Anyway, so you might feel like, oh, I know, it's just I don't understand. Every day it just knocks over and I don't know why. Um, and it's not tilted or anything like that. It's just that pot just moves. Not glucose spike energy, like I just ate sugar, but like, oof, I feel vibrant. I just went for a run. Like it just makes you feel good when you eat these foods together. That's specifically why I picked this kind of curry. And trust me, I know curry is not it's not for everyone. Not everybody likes it. It's the same way cilantro is not for everyone. The same way, it's another one. Ginger is not for everyone. Um, so not everybody likes certain herbs and spices, and curry is one of those things. I've never had curry, I wouldn't like it, or I don't like, I don't like spicy food, or I don't like seasoned food like that. Um, Give it a try in a very simple way. This is a very simple way, and then start to build if you really like it. Um, it's wonderful for your immune system. It's wonderful for your circulation, which in turn is just really great for heart health. These are also really awesome to add to your curry dishes. These the mini sweet peppers that are like super sweet. Um, these are, I always keep these around because they're going to add crunch. They're going to add sweetness. They don't break down a lot. So if you're adding it to a dish that maybe has to cook for a long time in the oven, roast for a long time in the oven, or braise, if you're doing like a curry sauce, they don't break down. They actually like don't lose their texture and sweetness. So it's a really nice addition to something like a curry. And if you've had Thai curry, you will notice that there are sliced peppers in there. They hold their body really well, but they send off that sweetness that reduces the kind of spice or intense flavor of the curry. So try that too. So if you're like, okay, I want to try it, but I don't want to go all in, start to add some of the vegetables that you know you like. Um, let's see it. Let's see. Any other questions? Oh, what is your curry dip like? Do you do it with like a Greek yogurt? Because I would imagine that's delicious with raw veggies, and that's just it's just a nice surprise, right? Usually you're getting like a ranch dip or um, an onion dip. This is a nice that this would be a nice surprise. I would definitely like that that addition to it. Um, let's see. Any other questions? I'm going to give that a few more minutes and then I'm going to take it out. I'm going to show you what ideally you would want it to look like. You're going to cook it to your preference. So if you like I said, a crunch or a raw crunch to your vegetable, you're going to cook it a little bit less. If you want it soft and more kind of sweet and more charred, cook it more. This is where your preference comes in, which is why it's a really good recipe to keep in your back pocket because you can do it really quickly, right? You can. This is pantry stuff that most of us have. Yes, turmeric is very earthy. It's very yellow and very like. Um, it reminds me a little bit of the curry, but it has more of like less vibrancy to it. It's very like very earthy, very creamy, very good for you, anti-inflammatory. So if you're feeling a lot of uh kind of like I don't want to say tenderness in the in your body, but if you are feeling um bloating and just irritability in the gut and gassy and things like that, turmeric is going to help reduce a lot of the inflammation that causes those things because those are all byproducts of inflammation in our internal system. So turmeric is going to help reduce that. It is very good for you. You can put it in a tea. You can mix it in things like this. Um, I do it with eggs a lot, which is strange, but I will use turmeric in eggs a lot. And I think it works really nicely. Um, Yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't use a ton of mayo for unless I make it homemade. I don't use a ton of commercial mayo. Um it doesn't make me feel great. My kids love it, so I try to do homemade mayo just because I know they're going to use a lot of it. Two of my kids like it. Um but yeah, I'd try it with the Greek yogurt and see if it does the same thing. All the good stuff was in the 70s. we That's when I was born. It was just like a lot of just appreciation, I want to say, of food. And then kind of, I think in the 80s, we went a little bit more commercial, margarines and what were those cookies? Snackwells and, all of those things that just kind of showed up just to make us think that, food shouldn't be what it is. Um, but good homemade mayo is delicious. I love it. Egg yolks, olive oil, salt, pepper, very, very delicious. Um, but yeah, I add turmeric to this as well. It would be great. I'm gonna take it out just so you can get a little look at the char on there because I want you guys to pick this up. Happening. I want you guys to see the steps along the way so you know what you're looking for, and then you can decide when you want to get some of the smoke out. When you want to stop cooking it, right? So I like this amount of char. I like this kind of brown, little bits that are brown on the side. That one's beautiful. I'm gonna give it maybe like 5 more minutes. And then I'm gonna be done. I think it's gonna be done for me. You're gonna decide how long you want it to cook for. Then I'll give it a rotation. If anybody is doing this, when you take it out of the oven, you are hit with that cinnamon. It's almost like cinnamon cream, if that makes sense. As if you whipped cream and put cinnamon in it. It has this beautiful essence that is really vibrant. Um, and when you put that on the table, that's going to be the smell that everybody smells. So you will hear what is that smells sweet. What it I've smelled that before, but I don't know what it is. It's very reminiscent of like a rice pudding almost, in the sense that you have that the sweetness, the custard like, and we don't have any custard in this, but those two flavors together, the cinnamon and the curry together with the olive oil, almost kind of create that custard essence. And then you have the cauliflower, which is once it chars, it has a little bit of sweetness as well. So if anybody is cooking, share what you smell, because that's it's making me want to eat it right away because it has that like nice creaminess to it. Um, I instinctively I'm like, oh, I'm gonna puree this, add coconut milk, and turn it into a cauliflower curry soup. That's like if I don't finish it, that's what I'm gonna do. Um, I'm gonna take whatever I don't eat, I'm gonna blend it with coconut milk and maybe a little broth and turn it into a soup. Because I love soups like that. Really nice, warming, heart healthy, and energizing. That's all good stuff. Um, any questions so far? No? Okay, good. All right, great. All right, I'm gonna take mine out. I'm gonna stop cooking it. I'm gonna take it out. So I only did this one for like 15 minutes, maybe total. You're gonna decide how long you want to cook it for. But I'm gonna show you mine. This is really what you're looking for in terms of like the minimal roast. If you want a more charred roast, like this, my little baby piece right here got super charred. If you want that, keep it in a little bit longer. But I like how it's golden. It's very beautiful and golden. My garlic has been coated with the olive oil, so it's protected. If you notice, my garlic is not too burnt. Um, it's protected with that olive oil, so it has to get through the layer of olive oil before it really burns my garlic. So it's my garlic is protected, because I made sure every piece was coated. So it's not it's not going to be bitter at all. But I like this part of it. If you don't eat it, try that. If you don't finish it, try pureeing it with a little bit of coconut milk and seeing if you like that as a soup, because it makes a deliciously creamy soup. Mm. It has like a mellow flavor to it. And then the black pepper and the curry together have a little bit of like, really just awakens your taste buds. A little bit of heat in the back. So it's very good, very nice. If you add something like the chickpeas or the white beans, remember it's a protein, but it's a creamy, almost like a starchy protein. So it's going to bring down any kind of extra spice that you had. We used a very minimal amount of salt, just about a half a teaspoon. So it's not salty at all. We had a lot of cauliflower. If you need to add a little bit more salt on this and you feel like, oh, I need a little bit more savoriness to it, you could just sprinkle some finishing salt at the end of this if you need a little bit more savoriness. You could also use something like a nutritional yeast if you wanted to keep all of those flavors like heart healthy. Nutritional yeast is in the health food section of the supermarket, like where you'll find a lot of protein powders and things like that. Some people say it tastes like Parmesan cheese. I don't think it does. I just think it has like a little bit of a nutty saltiness, and that might
tastes nice with this. Uh, any questions? Give you another little peek at how it looks. I love all this beautiful char right there, right? But then I still have some nice, soft kind of big pieces. So you're going to decide what you like, how you like your cauliflower, how you like your vegetable. Um, but I soft, so I can tell that it's soft already. Um, See how easily the knife goes through it? It's not, it's not raw at all. It's easily kind of broken, which is what you want to make sure that you can actually bite through it. You don't want to have to like chew through it. You don't want to have to like, rip into it. You want to be able to bite through it really nicely, easily. That says very simple, right? Really simple way to introduce curry to your families, in a non-committal way, right? The whole meal is not curry. It's just this side dish. See if they like it, see what they like about it, what they don't like about it, and then take it from there. Start with a small amount. I think we did a teaspoon and a half. You can start with half a teaspoon and see, and then build. But start with the curry powder because that's going to be a little bit more controllable, and then you can take it from there.